Hello everyone, Joe Morton here for this edition of Positive In, a YouTube channel dedicated to putting positive into our lives every day so we can have positive flow out in all the roles that we play. This one I want to dedicate to paying it forward, doing something good. We saw the movie, anyone who's seen this movie, it was made in 2000 about the young boy, and he does this little experiment about doing good and how he believes that it'll pay it forward, go forward with it. Well, I had that you may have had this happen to you as well. I had this happen to me when my wife and I were celebrating something early on in our marriage. We couldn't really afford the dinner that we were going to, probably if you were to look at our budget and our income, but we did it because it was a special occasion, whatever it was. And we were sitting next to a nice couple, an older couple, who, after we got to know them a little bit, they said, "We want to take your bill." They paid for our dinner, and we said, "Oh, no, you can't." And they said, "Please, let us do this. But the deal is, you need to do something nice for someone in the future when you can afford it." And we took the challenge, of course. And that was before the movie came out. But does this really work? Does this really actually work? Now, there's a study done. The authors are James Fowler, an associate professor of political science at UC San Diego, and Nicholas Christakis from Harvard sociology professor, showed that when one person, they actually say, yes, it does. They've come to a conclusion with this study that yes, it does. And they say, quote, showed that when one person gave money in a public goods game to help others, the recipients were more likely to give money away in the future. Now, the deal was they're not giving money to people they know, so it was, it's kind of hard to give back to that same person. But they did show that people were more likely to be kind and do something nice to someone afterwards. They said, and it was a quote from it, Fowler says, "Though the multiplier in the real world may be higher or lower than what you found in the lab." Now, of course, this is a study done, okay, so keep that in mind. "Personally, it's very exciting to learn that kindness spreads to people I don't know or have never met. We don't typically see how our generosity cascades through the social network to affect the lives of dozens or maybe hundreds of other people." Dozens or maybe hundreds. Interesting. Because you do something nice to someone you're not expecting to get something back from. That's part of the key. Maybe it's to do someone who you know, but this is kind of fun to do something randomly for someone you don't know. You don't know if you're going to get something back. Adam, the guy who's filming right here, he's tested this, he's done this, and he's a good example of this. This is what helped inspire me to do this one, where he did it at a Starbucks, where he paid for the person back behind him. And it ended up being, interestingly, in one of the occasions, he's done it multiple times, some people he worked with, and he made the deal with them. Now you have to do something nice for them. So I took the challenge from Adam, and I just actually did this today. And I went through a drive-through and I got something myself, and there wasn't anyone behind me, so I didn't know it, but I left a certain amount of money, and I said, "Will you do this for me?" And she says, "Oh, I would love to, that's so nice, thank you." And I said, "Well, I was inspired by a friend who I work with." And I said, "Do you ever get this?" She goes, "Yes." And I said, "Really?" And she goes, "And you know what's interesting? Oftentimes, not all the times, but oftentimes when someone does this, then they end up doing it for the person behind them." And she says, "There's been times where I've watched it go on and on and on for multiple cars, multiple people." So I guess this study is right, that when we do something nice, now it doesn't have to be in a form of paying money, although if you're inclined to do that, I encourage you to do that. If you're watching this today, do something nice. Pay it forward. And when it happens to you, then go ahead. You've seen these videos, they're floating around the internet. They're really fun, where someone gives a hug and then you see the next person, then the person ends up helping that person, or, they're kind of staged and put together, but nonetheless, it's showing a really good point. That we as human beings, it's innate in us. I know the world tends to be painted in this picture of everyone's evil, everyone's rotten. No, they're not. I think, yes, that is a certain amount of it, and we have to be cognizant to a certain extent that does exist. But I believe as human beings, innately, we want to do good. And when someone does something truly good to us, we turn around and naturally want to do it for someone else. So today, I encourage you, do something good, whether it be buy a person something in line, or whether it be you see a person in your military, people who tend to go unthanked, get them something, say thanks. Or maybe it's a random act of kindness somewhere, watch it pay it forward, okay? Hey, make it a great day. Thanks for watching for this edition of Positive In. Joe Morton here. Make it a great day. Thank you.